Hi, I am Sasha. I'm from a little town called Warrington. I study theatre and I want to go into musical theatre when I go to uni. And today I'm going to be talking about something really personal to me, health anxiety and how I've dealt with it, my life, and how I manage it now. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's lovely to have you on, Sasha. I'm really, really looking forward to hearing what you have to say and learning from you. No
Yeah.
pressure. So, how have you been affected by mental health?
So I guess like all my life I've always had, anxiety and you always have that, but mine was more I'm trying to think how it all started. So the one thing I want to put out there is that it all starts with some sort of like emotional trigger. So that's how mine started. And I remember I was in the car and I was just having a panic attack and I was really used to it. And I started getting this excruciating pain in my chest. And me being the overthinker that I was about 14. I thought I was dying. I thought I was having a heart attack. I was like, oh my God, like this is it. Because I've never heard of, I didn't even know what it was. Like it was just painful. And I remember the worst thing I could have done was go home, search up on Google, what's going on? Am I going to die? Straight away, it was like, go to the doctors, go and get your heart checked. Like there's something wrong with you. And I remember the first thing it affected was my family. I was always very much a family orientated person, and I am now, but I would tell my family and they would literally think that I was psychotic because imagine like going to your parents and saying, I think I'm dying. Like it's crazy. But I believed it so much that it wasn't mental anymore. It was like just pain. So from there, I would force my parents to take me to every single doctor that they could physically find. I'd be going like, I don't know, like twice a week, to the point that they would call me and say, you're not coming anymore, like there's nothing wrong with you. And that was so painful to hear because I thought that, I was like dying. And then from there, they told me that I need to go and see a therapist straight away. So I was like, right, okay. Because I had so many checks. I was having blood pressure machines, I was getting injections, like, and it was all coming back clear, but still, I would still have this like pain. And from there, I would distance myself from my family so much. Like, I didn't want to be with my dad, I didn't want to be with my mum because what I told myself was if I'm with my family, I don't want them to see me in this horrible state that I am. And I don't want them to see me like this because I thought that there was something wrong with me. Um, so I was going to therapists. I had, so I went to CAMS. And for some people it worked. And for some people it doesn't, like me, which I'll explain further on. I had nurses in school. So all of that was happening. From family, it then moved on to friendships. So one thing about health anxiety is that when you feel pain in your body, which I now have learned is a body sensation, which everyone has, but when you have, because the end result of health anxiety and the fear is death. Like that is what people are scared of, that is what I'm scared of. So every single thing that I would feel in my body would I would just overanalyze it, and I'd make it much worse than it is. Because if you think about it, if you think about a certain part of your body and really, really focus on something, you can make yourself feel a tingle in your arm, and it's how you program your mind. So I remember I would love holidays. Holidays is my favorite thing. I would love sleepovers. And because I would start feeling a certain way, you avoid them places. So holidays was actually fearful for me, because I knew if I went to a certain place, I would feel it. But then it's just like a constant cycle, because you think, so you're on holiday and you're scared of holidays, but you know that when you're with your mum, you started feeling this pain. So then you start avoiding your mum. And it was so isolating, because I didn't want to isolate myself, but I thought that was the best thing for me, because it's the whole thing of like, I just wanted to run. I wanted to run from the situation, and everywhere was, dead ends. So from all my therapy that I had, to try and sort my mind out and stuff, it then started to go away, like the pain, and I thought, oh my god, like I'm cured, which is not true, because when you have something like this, when you say, I want it to go away, I don't want this anymore, it comes back even harder next time. And if you don't learn to manage it, because in the time you're like, oh, this is fantastic, I feel great, like this is never going to come back again, but it comes back. And if you can't manage it, then you're just going to be in the same cycle, which I was doing. So it came back again, and straight away I was doing the habits that at the time I thought was so normal. So, and like, I'm being so honest now, like every single day, like once an hour I'd be checking my blood pressure, and I'd be hiding it, because I thought it was so stupid, because no one understood me. YouTube was lies, which is another thing. It's being absorbed to things that aren't true makes you feel insane. I was again googling things. I would be asking for reassurance. That is a negative habit for anyone who's going through health anxiety. If you think that's the right thing, it's not, because reassurance is it's one of them things of, it makes you feel good at the time, but at the end of the day, when you're alone and when you're by yourself, you're gonna want to crave that need of, you're going to be okay, you're going to be healthy, and it will cause serious trust issues, which it did for me. So from it coming back, I remember the only escape of that I felt like I couldn't feel pain would be singing and songwriting and being on stage. And that's when I realized, which is something you got to tell yourself, like if you keep yourself busy, which is a hard time now because we're literally stuck inside, but if you keep yourself busy, your mind busy especially, it won't be there. And that's when you realize, and that took so much time, I started to realize, like, oh, okay, maybe I actually am healthy and there isn't anything wrong with me. So once again, it went, and I was like, this is perfect. And I just got out of like counseling. I thought, okay, I'm on the right path now. And then another emotional trigger that hit me was then my nan and granddad passed away. Now, my nan was on the other side of the country, Russia, right? And I couldn't see her every single day, and she was so close to me, and she would be like my safety net. Like I knew that anything, I would be so protected by her. So when I lost her, I lost a part of myself. So the heart came back again, but then it came to eating, which is something that I do still have now. So I remember I was on holiday and I started choking, and from then it was this constant cycle of, I'm scared to eat, because my nan, I thought was so healthy at the time, and I thought, well, if she can die, then I can die, because if someone, because you see, on the news, but it's like, but they're not close to me, so you know, I feel safe. And then she passed away and my whole world changed. Like, I then started getting this horrible feeling in my throat, and I would never say it was a lump because it felt more painful than that. It felt like every single time I would eat a piece of food, it would just be persistent, it'd be stuck, I'd be coughing constantly. Again, I'd avoid places, but this time I was avoiding food. So this was like a really dark time. This was about like maybe a year ago or something. And it was just horrible. And this is when I went to CAMS. And for me, like it didn't work, as I said, because I genuinely thought that I couldn't eat. So this is why, like, I'm trying to make this like all sense. It's crazy, like trying to link this all up, but this is why all other mental health, you know, situations, that's why they all link, because I was watching the one about like disorders with food, and I would never say I had a food disorder, but it definitely wasn't, you know, the normal. I thought the safest way to protect me was to only eat noodles because they were soft, and a cereal bar. So that is what I would eat a day, and that is so bad because I literally turned into skin and bone. And because I'd be eating like that, I would then feel so hungry that I'd want to eat everything. Then I'd feel the feeling again and I'd want to be sick. And it was honestly horrible. And it's so mad to say, because at that time I genuinely thought I couldn't get out of it. The moment I realized that I really need to do something about this and stop trying to run away from this feeling was I was at a meal with my friends, and I remember I literally ordered I think like this was before I was a vegetarian, like chicken and sweet corn soup. I remember I couldn't eat it. I was eating it and then I turn away and like spit it out into my napkin, and people were staring at me, and I thought, oh my god, like I'm so messed up. I need to sort my head out, because my family didn't understand me now, because I went from this heart thing, then they thought I was being an actress, and because I do acting, they thought, oh, you're just being dramatic, there's nothing wrong with you, of course there's nothing stuck in your throat, because I would constantly be spitting food out and not eating at all. And yeah, it was horrible. And to get out of that, I mean, it was hard. I think the first thing I had to do was start bringing things back that I was fearful of, because when you start sitting in your fear, it's horrible and it's not easy, but at the end of the day, like, if you want to get out of something, you can't just run, because there's not like, you can't just snap your fingers and for it to go. I had to sit in that fear, and the times that I didn't want to like be there and to feel this horrible feeling, I just had to do it, because I knew that that would be the only way that I would get better. So I started introducing foods back into my life, because I would be so exhausted. Like, I didn't really want to be on a stage. I didn't want to sing because I was so tired. And it was just, I was trying to repress the thoughts, which is something that you can't do. And I've learned that you can't repress thoughts. Like, it happens. You have so many thoughts a day, but it's about not clinging on to them, because what your mind does is it makes a situation worse than it actually is. So you need to think of the factual information behind it. So me thinking that there was something stuck in my throat, I had to think, right, so I know I have bad trust issues, but going to the doctors, I literally, this is how bad it became, I had to get a camera up my nose and down my throat, and I did that about twice, because I was terrified that I could not, there was something gonna happen to me, and all I kept on thinking about was, well, my nan passed away, so I must pass away. I must pass away. I must, like, I'm gonna die as well, you know. And I remember, oh my God, there's so much. Jeez. I'm just trying to like think about it all. So after having all these cameras down my throat and stuff, I started to think, right, every single time I felt this feeling, I would stop it and be like, right, okay, you know all the factual information behind this. You know it doesn't take someone so intelligent to think there's symptoms behind everything. And I think that's why I got so into like biology and stuff, because I started looking into like feelings and stuff and like symptoms, and that was kind of like my escape as well, because I started getting really interested into it and thinking, right, well, when I feel this feeling, I know this happens. And I thought, you know, if I can start to believe that there was nothing wrong with my heart, I know that there's nothing stuck in my throat. So this took me about, I mean, I'm still going through it now, but slowly, like a year. And this is really controversial now, and this is something I wanted to talk about is it not working? About therapy. So, okay. So the thing with therapy is it is good, but therapy is supposed to help you with leading you a certain way, supposed to kind of like help you, give you the tools. But it's when you become so reliant on a person or on like going to a certain place that it can really mess you up. Because I remember when this CAMS worker said to me, we only have 6 weeks. I was like, oh my God, this means I need to be fine in 6 weeks. And of course, that's not true. Like, this stuff takes time. Like exercise, or like if you broke your leg, like it's not just, oh, I'll just put a bandage on and you're going to be okay. But it's about being heavily reliant on a person, which is not good. So for me, the way that I got out of it was actually not doing therapy. So I stopped my therapy and I stopped my counselling. And at the time I thought, oh my God, I'm destroying myself here, because I thought the only way I could control my health anxiety would to be to go to a therapist, to speak to someone, which is something obviously I do recommend. Speaking to someone is it's really hard. I remember like first opening up to my friends. Some of my friends don't even know that I have health anxiety. So being on here, it's a bit crazy. But so I stopped therapy about a year ago, and I started to just work on things that I love. So for me, it's always been music. So I started to go in to more acting classes, to workshops, to learning different instruments to keep me busy, meeting people, like-minded people, not people who make you feel like rubbish, people who is associated with music, or people who kind of, because when you surround yourself with negativity, which is another trigger of mine, and which is probably a trigger of many people, when you surround yourself with negative people who literally suck energy out of you, these feelings are going to come back, because it's just like a trigger. So to try, I don't know, it's not as easy as like stop therapy and you're going to be okay, because I'm trying to word it is how I kind of, I guess like there's always downs. Like when I stopped, I remember like I was down straight away, and then I went back up, and then I was down. I think it was just speaking to people who really, really understood me, not for reassurance, not like, am I going to be okay? It was just speaking about how I was feeling, and for them to like understand me. But even though I wasn't doing face-to-face therapy, I would do like some online stuff. So I remember speaking to oh my god, there's an online group. Oh, I don't know what it is, and they were quite good. And I remember one night as well, I called up Samaritans, which I thought was for suicide, but it's not just that. It's also for if you just want to talk. So that is great. Talking is the best way to make yourself feel like, you know, I am human. I go through things. Like what you see on social media is not true. It's really, really not true. It's so, and it's something that I've spoke to you about, Marie. Like it's all so refined. Like it's all, I want people to see me as a certain way, because if they don't see me like this, then I don't fit into society. Like what is society standards? You know what I mean? Like it's so annoying that some people just can't sit down and be like, I feel a certain way, and they have to like trap all these feelings inside. So yeah, so from there, as I said, I started putting myself more out into situations that made me feel uncomfortable, because when you put yourself in situations that make you feel uncomfortable, in time you're going to get used to it. But the thing is, if you isolate yourself and keep yourself in this space, you might think that you're keeping yourself safe, but you're not. You're missing so much in life, you know. Not that YOLO, but like you do like live once. And I think everyone has a purpose, and everyone, you know, when they go through things, it's to make you a bigger person. You know, you can either grow from this situation, which I know I definitely have. Like I never thought in like when I was younger, 2 years time, I'd be sat here speaking openly about what I was going through, because I thought I was crazy. You know, I thought no one liked me because I couldn't eat, because there was something wrong with me. Yeah, so but oh god, this is making me quite nervous, and I don't know why. So yeah, I think even now to this day, something I do want to say is I still go through this, and I've spoke to you about it, Marie. I've been so anxious, like literally. Quarantine, it's not so idealistic that people make out on YouTube. It's really, really not. And for someone who's kind of always has that thought of being scared of food, and I wouldn't say to this day I'm in a very happy relationship with it, but it's something I'm working on. But I do have these feelings, but I guess it's different now with keeping busy, because obviously we're stuck inside. But I think it's just letting your mind rest. Like you need to do things to help your mind, because why you're getting these feelings is because it's something you can't control. And because especially with this COVID-19, you don't know what's going to happen, and you feel like you can't control something, but you can. It's not controlling the thoughts in your mind, it's about controlling how you perceive your thoughts.
Definitely.
So honestly, like I think meditation and all that stuff is not spoke about enough, because it's so great, and you may think you're looking like an idiot, but honestly, if it helps you, but it's just finding things that help you. So for me, with food, and I've not actually told anyone this. So I became a vegetarian, and at the time I thought, because I wasn't eating meat and stuff, it was because I was kind of avoiding it. But you can think, and there's always a positive to something. So I thought, right, if I just, because I wasn't eating, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go cold turkey and just eat
and cut out the turkey.
yeah, cut out the turkey and just eat loads of vegetarian food. And I knew nothing about being a vegetarian, literally nothing. I didn't like toast. I liked nothing. Now I'm absolutely obsessed with it. But I found that that gives me like a healthy lifestyle, and I feel happy doing them things. It's just about making alterations. Like, you are, and I'm like, sorry to say this, but like, you are gonna have it, because it's not, as I said, a cure, and it's not a disease. It's about you are more than like health anxiety. I'm not Sasha with health anxiety. Like, I was watching Beth's, and obviously I haven't gone through what she's gone through, but the whole thing of like, when I'm feeling anxious, I don't say, oh, it's my anxiety. Like, it's not a person, it's a feeling. Like, just when you feel sad, or it's, I think with health anxiety, definitely people hold on to these emotions because they think, oh my god, danger, 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 you know. But it's about separating you and kind of like these feelings that you're having, which is why things like anything to do with the mind, just kind of understanding, I think affirmations, meditation, I just think anything like that, calm music, or things that like soothe you, is a great way to kind of connect to your mind and these feelings. Like, a massive thing for me is I do exercise. I love exercise. I'm like a gym bunny, and I can't go to the gym, which is something, it was an escape for me, but as well as I enjoyed it, because not everything has to be an escape. It can be just something you enjoy. So I found that by doing things like this, and like by kind of understanding my mind more and realizing that, okay, today I feel this way, like, I'm just going to kind of get in touch with that, because once you start connecting these two things, it won't feel so complicated, you know.
Yeah, like honestly, you've given so much there, like so much advice, so much experience, and I think that it's really important to hear from someone with health anxiety, because I can just connect that to so much of like
Yeah.
anxiety disorder and like obsessive compulsive disorder, and my experience with like reassurance seeking, and you know, thoughts and trying to push them away and making them worse. So so much of what you covered is like so important. So thank you so much for opening up about that and like relating it to your own like experiences and examples, because that makes it easier than just the terms, like hearing how it actually affects, you know, someone's life.
Another thing I wanted to say is, for like, I'm 16 turning 17, and I know, like, when I was telling people that I had health anxiety, especially people obviously like your grandparents and stuff, they were like, you're 16, you have no problems. That's not true. Like, if you hear that, like, we're in a different, you know, generation. Like, open up about these things, because I honestly think if you can't open up about these things, then you're not meant to keep these people in around you, because that's not, life is like a roller coaster. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, you're not always going to be happy. So don't just surround yourself with the people who only want to be there when they just want to hear happy things out of you, because I've cut off so many people in my life who at the time I thought was so beneficial for me to help me. But first it was reassurance, and they only wanted to be there when they just wanted to see happy Sasha, you know. But I have these I do have these problems like any other teenager does. And it's like, when you surround yourself with people who do want to hear that and actually do want to help you, that will be a massive thing that will help. Because another trigger is just surrounding yourself with people who don't want to actually hear what you want to say. Because I got it a lot. It was just like, I don't want to hear it. It was, you're dramatic, you can't eat, you're fussy. Like, that is mentally destroying, like, hearing that stuff. But once you cut off these people, which will be hard, you'll just see like the light, like metaphorically, like you will, and things will just start to get easier. It honestly just takes time, and I'm still going through it.
Yeah, and you're so right that it takes time. It's not linear, like you said. It's very like up and down, and I think, you know, we can expect too much of ourselves. Once I felt like, oh, I'm doing better, it was like the best feeling in the world, because you know what it's like to feel like this dark, like, danger in your own self, and you can't get rid of it, and then suddenly it feels like you have, and you're so elated, you feel so on top of the world. And usually for me, when I'm like on holiday or, you know, with friends or something where I'm supposed to be happy, is sometimes where it'll hit hardest and like get me more. So I think that's really
expect it. Like, when you least expect something, it'll happen and you'll be like, oh my god, there's something wrong with me. Like, what have I done wrong? And
what did I do to deserve that?
What did I do? Like, everything's going so well. But it gets obsessive, and that is when a cycle starts again. So it's about stopping right before that happens. So when you get this feeling, it's not about, okay, I now need to do all these things, all these negative habits that will stop it, because it won't stop it. It'll happen again and again. It's about going, right, okay, so today I've done it right. So I felt a certain way with eating, and I was eating, I started getting the feeling in my throat. Straight away I was like, okay, I need to go to my mum. Then I was like, no, that's not going to get you anywhere, first of all. And then it was like, okay, now I need to eat to get rid of the feeling. But I know that if I eat, I'm just going to feel rubbish, like, because I'm feeding my body with food that I don't want. So I just sit there and just kind of be like, just breathe, and then just be like, okay, you felt this way so many times. It's not also about, because you can be your worst critic, and you know that it's not about putting yourself down. It's about saying, right, okay, so today I feel this way. What am I going to do to change this? Because I know I can't sit here right now and be like this all day. But I also know that I can't go outside and see my friends. It's about being like, okay, so is there a certain program that will make me happy, or a certain song that will give me good memories, or do I want to, start something new? Just keep your mind busy. It's the best thing. And you'll start to think, oh, right, okay, so maybe I don't need to watch all this YouTube nonsense, because Google's not your best friend, and neither is YouTube, because I have learned from that so badly.
Honestly, same, like the Google search of being like, oh god, what's wrong with me, and then just having like everything in the world be wrong with you.
You've got cancer, you've got throat cancer, oh my god, you're gonna have a heart attack. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Like, and I remember making another thing, right? So I remember making videos of myself on the days I felt rubbish, which is something is good if you don't want to journal. Personally, I journal. I'll show you. This bad boy is my little journal. And I write everything. And at the time, I may feel so rubbish. I may think that, oh my God, like, this isn't going to get better. But you'll look back and you'll think, wow, like, I dealt with that by doing this, and this. So it's about finding things that work for you, but that will take time.
Yeah, I think that's massively important, what you said about like what we put out there is not, always an indication of how we're feeling. Like, even me with videos, like, I find these really, really important, and I really want to especially after not understanding what was going on with me for so many years. Like when I was your age, I had no idea. And then getting to like 20 and finally realising, which is quite early compared to a lot of people I know who are older, who spent years and years. So I think we're lucky we're part of like a generation that we are talking about it. But still, I can be making these videos and like in the day, you know, feeling anxious, and I've just learned to, like you said, like have my ways of trying to sit with that and like sit in the fear and sit in the anxiety, not like push it away, but also, you know, distract myself healthily with things that like motivate me, moving towards my values rather than moving like, you know, away from my fear. There's a difference, and I think you've really highlighted that.
I hope that this is helpful. I know what it feels like to feel like you're not gonna get out of it, and that there is only dead ends, but there is, and it takes so much time. And to this day, I fail and then I get back up and then I fail. I've had so many emotional breakdowns during quarantine, like if I could count them. But also, don't feel bad on yourself if during quarantine you're having a day where you're like, I really don't want to do anything, because that's fine. That's fine. That you're human. That's normal. You can do that. But it's about balance, as you said. Balance is so key. Like balance your mind, but also just balance your life and just enjoy and have fun and don't take things too seriously.
Definitely.
You know, you can either let it destroy you or you can grow as a person, which you can and will happen if you take the steps towards it.
Oh, thanks so much, Sasha. Honestly, thank you for everything.
I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this, Marie.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it.
So inspiring, and I love it, because if I had this 2 years ago, it would be something I definitely would want to watch, because I'm sick of seeing all fake stuff. I don't like it, and it just makes you feel rubbish about yourself, because it's like, okay, but these, obviously, maybe if you do have, you know, health anxiety, you may have different feelings. Like you can get dizziness, like it's not just the throat. You can have so many, you know. I had, actually, before we go, a massive thing that really wasn't great was depersonalization. And it's basically where you feel like you're in a dream. Now this was crazy. I honestly, I don't know how it happened. I woke up one day and I thought I was in a dream, and that stuff happened. But, you know, it, once again, it's about grounding yourself. So I think just by sometimes I like to do the 5 thing, where you do like 5 things you can see, and it puts you back into the present moment. And I think just like, even with meditation and stuff, you don't even need to like hear, you know, maybe headspace doesn't work for you. It's just about like breathing and stuff, putting yourself in the present moment. That is something I got out of, because I had that for about a week and that was horrible. And, you know, it's not, there's so much more to health anxiety that I could have said, but that could take me literally weeks. It's just maybe, you know, looking into it a little bit, you know, even looking into like psychology and stuff, like even just looking, like maybe while you're in quarantine, looking into psychology and kind of learning the mind a little bit, and just find ways. And some things might work, some things might not. Definitely things haven't worked for me, and I thought, can't get out of this. But there's ways, and some days you're going to feel fantastic and some days you're not, but you're human and things are going to be okay.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you so much.
It's okay. I've loved it. Thank you, Marie. Even though we had a little difficulties, it's been great.